I grew up in El Paso, Texas, and there I have a little sister. My mom died when I was 19. She died of cancer. And that came on all of a sudden because my mom dealt with depression her entire life. So she was sick and didn't know it. We went to the hospital. They checked her. They had to give her 3 units of blood right away. That's how sick she was. My parents were actually divorced at the time. So, it's not like I could call my dad and say, come help me with mom, even though he would have. But my mom has 3 younger sisters that live up here in Pennsylvania. And that's where my story began, up here. Because my mom got sick and my aunts came down and they said, well, she's gonna have to come up. They said she has 6 months to live. We were staying with my aunt and my mom died a month later. And it was sad. It was hard. My mom was a good woman, but she was mentally ill and she wasn't a great mom in a lot of ways. But she loved me. Both my parents did, through everything. Even my dad with his alcoholism. There were Christmases he wasn't there. But now my dad, if I told you the things that my dad did when I was young, you wouldn't believe it meeting him now. There was a total transformation. And he's a really wonderful man. My dad was in the military. He then actually got out of the military and became a nurse. And at the time, I saw how hard he studied to be a nurse, and I said, I will never be a nurse. That is too hard to get into. When my mom died, I moved up here and I got a job, and I met Mike. I was gonna move back, but then I met Mike and I told my sister, I'm not moving back. He's just too great. And it's funny too, because at our wedding, Grubby said that God said to Mike, meet Kendra. And Mike said to me, Kendra, meet Jesus. And that's really what happened. And we've been married 21 years. We have 2 great kids, Trinity, who is 17, and Cade, who is 15. People that know me the best would say that I'm very honest. I've been told that I'm intimidating, but I don't think I am. I have a soft heart. It doesn't look like it, but I do. I'm loyal, almost to a fault. If I know you and I love you, I am loyal to you. I'm funny. I think I'm funny. My husband doesn't always think I'm funny, but I think I'm funny. Some things that really make me come alive is worship, a really good workout, going out with friends, having people over and making something for dinner that they enjoy, being with my family, and coffee. One thing that someone would never know about me is my favorite music is rap music. And I've won 2 karaoke contests. When my children were small, I was able to stay home with them. It was really nice. But as they were getting older, I wanted to go back to work, but I hadn't gone to college. So we were talking about nursing or being a police officer. And to be honest with you, at the time, I was leaning towards being a police officer because I'm from Texas and I like the idea of carrying a gun. And also because I like justice and I like fairness. Mike and I talked about it and he said, I think, let's go towards nursing. And I said, okay. So I was willing to do the challenge. It was really, really tough, but I did it. I didn't think I would like ER nursing, but I enjoyed it a lot because it isn't all scary stuff. You're not, starting someone's heart every time you work. I got my preceptorship in nursing school in an ER and they liked me, so they hired me. And now I've been an ER nurse for 7 years. It was really hard through the pandemic. At first, it was kind of scary because they said, everybody stay at home. And people listened. So the ER was really slow. They asked the weekend people because the ICU was actually busy because the ones that came in were really sick. That was the initial COVID that if you got it, it was really scary and you had a good possibility of dying. So I did. I worked in the ICU for a couple months. They would pair you with another ICU nurse. And it was really sad. It was eye-opening working on that floor because every single patient had COVID and every single patient was intubated and almost every single one died. It was really, really sad. But then as, COVID evolved and, you can't make everybody stay inside forever, the ER started getting busier and the ICU still stayed full and we were jam-packed in the ERs with patients in hallway beds, people in the waiting room on oxygen tanks because we couldn't bring them back right away because we literally had not one spot to put them. I've seen people intubated in the hallway, which is really something that needs to be done in a room. I mean, it was tough. It was hard. It was hard to see. During the pandemic, it was the year of the nurse. Most people would come in and saying, "Thank you so much for everything you're doing." And at the time I thought, it's my job. It made me kind of feel like a soldier. It's similar, it really is. You were in the trenches, man. It was bad a lot of days. Like I said, I cried in, I cried out. Mike is very supportive with everything I've ever done. It was hard coming home from work because at first COVID was so scary. I didn't want the kids to get it. The kids were at home, Mike was at home, but I was the one out there working, 50 hours a week to help out. One patient came in, she was young. We knew it was a serious situation. It was really busy in the ER that day, and we worked on this patient. And to be honest with you, she was so young, it didn't even cross my mind that she wouldn't make it. And then all of a sudden, the doctor was calling it, time of death. I was like, what? And I was so upset by that. But you have to shut that off and walk out because the ER was so busy. Something that I think that's getting lost with COVID is that it happened. It was real. I lived it. It was one of the toughest things I've ever had to go through, and a lot of people died. I saw a lot of people die before my very eyes because of COVID. Oh, my faith has definitely helped me in the past 2 years. I know I couldn't have gone through it without my faith in God and His will for me and everyone. He's definitely my rock. And Mike too, he's my rock too. I really try to have a servant's heart in everything I do. Even if it's just, picking something up for somebody or doing something for them. Because truly, we say we want to help people, but I feel like a lot of people want to help people when it's convenient for them, when really, truly helping somebody is very inconvenient. Because I want to do that. I want to help people. I really do. I am Kendra Dunstan. I am a voice of NC4.